Hi everyone, welcome to another week in review. If you want more, you can check out my YouTube page. I've been doing weekend reviews for quite some time. So you can either watch the replay on Instagram, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at I am Chantay. It's both. Welcome to all. Like I said, if you want to watch the replay, you can watch it on Instagram, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, or follow me on Instagram and Twitter where I post clips. So at first, I would like to cover COVID-19. We're still in the midst of this pandemic. We're 18 months in, 18 and a half months in, because we're halfway into the month. We're more than halfway into the month of September, and kids have entered back into school. So according to the Johns Hopkins website, which is coronavirus.jhu.edu, hello, Kay, global confirmed cases are as follow. 227,602,725 cases of COVID around the world. Global death toll is 4,678,667 cases. U.S. confirmed cases. We are still the number one country with the most cases on the globe, and we're only 20% of the world's population. We are at 41,992,919 cases of COVID. Our death toll is sitting at 672,615. So global confirmed cases, 227.6 mil. Global death toll is 4.6 mil. U.S. confirmed cases is 41.9 mil. And the U.S. death toll is 672,615 cases of COVID. Now, I normally will do I haven't done around the world lately, but I'll do some cases. We know India is right behind us at 1,022,899 cases. Let's see. United Kingdom is at, the total actually for India, because I just read their 28-day. India's total is 33.3 mil. UK is 7.4 mil. Iran is 5.3 mil. Turkey is 6.7. Brazil is at 21 million. Malaysia, which I'm surprised, is at 2,067,327. And Russia is at 7.1 mil. So a lot of these countries around the world are at level 4, according to the CDC. There's not a lot of places that are at level 1. Antigua is level 1 on the globe, which is safe to travel to Antigua, believe it or not. But it's not safe to travel to most of the countries in the world, including Jamaica and most of the Caribbean islands, except Antigua. Everywhere else is safe to travel. No, everywhere is not safe to travel. I repeat that. Including here, the United States, we're number 4. So we have reached a lot. And trust me, we reached a lot of depths. Other places in the United States have not reported their COVID numbers, such as some of our southern states and states in the Sun Belt, including Florida, have not reported their cases. But in terms of vaccinations, because I have it written on my list, my beautiful list, right here, because I'm following my list to make sure I cover what I need to cover in terms of that. So I already talked about the cases. Now we're getting into vaccinations. We just said that, so we don't know yet, but we will find out real soon. Vaccinations, according to the CDC, let's go back. If we go to data visualizations, we see that in the United States, the population of fully vaccinated, District of Columbia still got people fully vaccinated. That's DC. Then you have Rhode Island, Vermont. New York is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're number 12 in the country. Number 12. And we're fully vaccinated at the number of 61.88 million in New York. So even though our positivity rate is 3.4, but yeah, that's in terms of the vaccination. Between Chantay, did you see the video of? I actually worked today, so I was not able to see it. But when I do see the video, I will probably tweet about it, but I won't do a video about it. But I'm pretty sure I haven't seen it today because I worked. Oh, I have not seen the video at all. But if somebody sends it to me, that would be great on my Twitter, not my Instagram. So, getting back to vaccines, in terms of states that have high numbers of fully vaccinated people that reach above average, including New York State. Here are the states with low vaccination rates: Nebraska, Illinois, Iowa, Utah, North Carolina, Arizona, Michigan, South Dakota, Nevada, Texas, Connecticut, Kansas, Ohio, Alaska, Montana, Indiana, Missouri, South Carolina, my mother's home state, Oklahoma, Tennessee, West Virginia, Georgia, Arkansas, Idaho, Louisiana, North Dakota, Mississippi, Alabama, and Wyoming. Wagwan Queen Lion. Now, let's keep in mind, West Virginia is on here, only has 45.4% vaccination, fully vaccinated population. Let's check on Arizona. Arizona has 51.7. And the reason why I picked out these two numbers in particular, because I'm going to get into the GOP's ass. We have two Democratic senators from these states. With all with all the bullshit that they're doing. Not high vaccination rates. Arizona has 51.7 fully vaccinated people, while West Virginia has 45.4 million people. 45.4. Let's say this again. I'm messing up numbers because everybody is like messaging and I'm getting thrown off. Okay, so Arizona has if I look at vaccinated people, fully vaccinated, I'm sorry, I botched up the numbers. This is how I need to pay attention. Arizona has 51.74 people vaccinated, while West Virginia has 45.43% people vaccinated. Kristen Leah Sinema and Joseph Manchin III, two Democratic senators sitting in, their states have one of the lowest vaccination rates. And y'all doing all this performative Republican-like bullshit in the in the Senate to appease your white rich voters, your Karens and your Chads, high middle income folks. What you should be doing instead of obstructing the Biden and Harris administration's agenda. You should be encouraging your constituents to get vaccinated. Appeasing the MAGA folks, they don't vote for you. Especially more with Kristen. Arizona's a little bit more diverse than West Virginia. You may want to boost that 51.74% of people vaccinated before opposing the filibuster. And Joseph, you want to increase that 45.43% fully vaccinated in your state before laying in bed with the Koch brothers, campaigning for Republican congressmen, state senators, and state representatives. Because those people, they don't vote for you. You know who votes for Democrats? In high numbers? You're looking at them. So I suggest that you cut the performative bullshit out. And trust me, there's other people that I will address soon. I'm just waiting. Because if they don't get their shit together by the end of the year, I'm going to read their ass for filth. And they're not going to like it. And I know a lot of women that follow me, a lot of the white women that follow me, and some of the black women that follow me are going to be mad because I am going to criticize this particular person if she does not get her shit together by the end of this year. And you will find out who she is because I am letting this whole thing play out. I am letting her make the whole entire mistakes that she's making because she keeps governing the way she's governing. She is not going to win her primary. She is going to have the hardest time. But you will find out who she is. I'll give it 3 months from now. I will reveal who she is. In the meantime, the USA is ordering Pfizer vaccines to donate around the world, which I think that's very diplomatic of them. And it's good for the president and the vice president that what they're doing, because the last administration didn't give a damn about the world. Hell, they didn't even give a damn about us during COVID-19. They want us to liberate and oppose our stay-at-home orders, which those stay-at-home orders were actually saving our lives. So I think this is really good for the president and vice president that they're doing this to, get the world, because a lot of these countries are waiting for the vaccine. And that's another thing. This is my message to the anti-vaxxers, because I will address one anti-vaxxer in my time to read. I've been addressing her for the whole week, but I'm going to wait till my time to read segment because I got her listed. But I know some anti-vaxxers, and I know some of them follow me on this platform. They're not going to like what I have to say, but if you really care about your life, you will listen to what I have to say. Comparing this vaccine to the Tuskegee experiment is ignorant as fuck. The Tuskegee experiment that happened over probably 70 years ago, forgot the timing of it, they were actually denied treatment. They were denied treatment. They were tested for syphilis, but they were denied treatment. versus the COVID-19 vaccine, the Moderna and the Pfizer, which the Pfizer has been already approved by the FDA, which is waiting for Moderna to be approved, is safe. Moderna was invented by a black woman who is my age, just 3 months older than me. Born in the same year, just 3 months older than me. I had Moderna. Doctors got it tested. Doctors took the vaccine because the healthcare professionals had to take it first. Then essential workers. And then folks like me. The common folks that was working from home at the time. I took Moderna. The only effect I have, I had a headache and I was tired. And I didn't really have a bad headache. I was fine. Mariah Carey took the vaccine. She was fine. Dolly Parton took the vaccine. She was fine. I'm pretty sure many other black celebrities took the vaccine and they were fine. Besides those who are talking shit about the vaccine. Even the people at Fox. And yes, the people at Fox took the vaccine and they were fine. So I don't understand these conspiracy theories, these COVID cult. That's the new thing I saw. Boasting the COVID survival rate is 99.9%. No, it's not. You either get a lifelong condition on top of your pre-existing condition you had pre-COVID, or you die. And these new strains out here are more lethal than the UK strain of COVID-19. So you keep spreading falsehoods and misinformation, you're not going to have a great outcome. So when you spread misinformation, karma comes to bite you in the ass. Either you get real sick from COVID, or you suffer the fatality of it all. You suffer from it fatally. So pick and choose your poison. But if you want to be smart, I suggest you take the vaccine and still wear your mask. Yeah, I guess that would be a good idea. And as for the folks who did take the vaccine, but not wearing a mask all day, every day, you're not immune neither. Like, you're not immune. Just because you took the vaccine, you still gotta wear your goddamn mask. Like, it's just that simple. I can't even say it. Like, I am vaccinated. I still wear my mask because I live in a city of 8.4 million people. And only about 50-something% of the city, or 60% of the city, is vaccinated. We're not at a place of herd immunity. The vaccination rate is low amongst black folks. I still wear my mask out here. And plus, I take the train. I'm in enclosed space. I refuse to take off my mask. If I'm sitting outside in the park by myself or in a bench by myself where I'm 6 feet away from people, okay, you can strip down your mask and catch some fresh air. But if you're walking and going somewhere, you should have your mask on and not carry it in your fucking hand. Put the shit on your fucking face. Because you're touching things and you're touching services. It's stupid. So, vaccinated people who are not wearing a mask, you can catch COVID too. You won't have it as bad as unvaccinated people will have it, but you're immune to catch it bad too. And watch who you be around with that's unvaccinated, because you don't know if that person wore their mask. Because I know some unvaccinated people that's not wearing their mask and they choose not to. Word of advice. And to the parents with kids under 12 that's not vaccinated, don't oppose your child of wearing a mask. Let your kids wear their mask. I know here in New York City, there's 1.1 million kids that attend our schools. They wear their masks. They have no choice but to wear their mask, because if they don't wear their mask, you know, they can get sick. And kids like to touch everything. Kids are the most inquisitive and the most touchy people. And they touch everything. They like to hug their friends and everything. So, you know, you want your kids to wear a mask. And surgical masks only, a pack costs of 10, $1.99. $1.99. A big box, you can order it for $25. 100 for $25. I'm just saying. I did it before. I'm just saying. And also the FDA, lastly, see, this is what happens when you write stuff down. It's a good feeling. The FDA approved of people 65 and older or immune compromised people to get the third booster. I'm part of that immune compromise. My anemia is mild, but still, I'm part of that immune compromise. So I will be getting my third booster in January, late January, because I got vaccinated in late, the second vaccine shot in late May. So please go get vaccinated. So, you know, get that third booster, I mean. And those who did not get vaccinated, please get vaccinated, because the fall months ain't pretty. I can tell you that right now. And this shit is crazy. All right, on to the politics of things. So before we get into, because I know everybody's tweeting about you know who, I'm going to get into Onika pretty soon. Just not right now. I will get into Onika. Trust. Onika is you know, she about to get red fulfilled. But in the meantime, I would like to talk about this California recall elections. Now, I have said before that, you know, I don't get involved in out-of-state politics, but it's starting in October 15th. For those who got vaccinated in February, like their last vaccine shot, get in October, and it goes from months on. So it's 8 months after your second dose. Now, California election results, I knew was going to end up like it ended up. I knew it was going to happen. That's why I did not get involved like that. Some people got mad, and my comments was like, oh, it matters to us because it's a Tennessee. I know everybody wants Dianne Feinstein to retire. Eventually she will. But in the meantime, I mind my business because I live 3,000 miles away. We just had our situation handled. So why would I speak on anybody else's situation? I mind my business. But I knew California was not that dumb to vote for Larry Elder. He only got 1.8 million of the votes versus Gavin Newsom got like way more than that. They didn't put the I didn't see the number, but I know he got a good chunk. He earned 67% of the vote versus Larry Elder's 33 or 43, whatever it is, whatever the number is. So kudos to the Democrats. Now the GOP thought they had this in the bag. Larry Elder thought he was really going to get that governorship, but I don't think he realizes that the GOP is full of older white men. And 9 times out of 10, they don't care about the black people in their party. It's not the Lincoln days. Those days been over before the 20th century. So the white GOPers don't care about their black GOPers, their fellow black GOPers. So I don't know if Larry Elder ever got the hint. Despite his baggage, he thought that these white men were really on his side. Remember, you, Candace, Diamond and Silk, what is it? The 2 Republican congressmen, the 2 black Republican congressmen, one from Utah, one from Florida. You guys are nothing but they minstrel shows. They don't care about you. I'm just saying. I didn't forget about the old white women because they're not exempt neither. I'm just saying. Well, for 2022, excuse me, midterm elections will, yeah, they say midterm elections, congressional races, Senate seats, and even gubernatorial races in major states like New York. If Democrats really want to maintain control in Congress, that includes the Senate, state legislators, and gubernatorial leads, they should run on the Democratic message of the American Rescue Plan, the infrastructure, all other legislative achievements, and of course, how the GOP is imperiling our democracy time and time again. Let's stop catering to the white centrists and white moderates who keep siding, and this is not being mean, this is being real, who are siding with some of these good Republicans who are just, some of them are just staying silent. Like this is their first time voting for Democrats. These same quote unquote good Republicans did not vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So let's stop giving them praises and glory, no matter if they're speaking truth to power. Democratic Party need to focus on legislative achievements, how they're getting people vaccinated, how the American Rescue Plan is helping people, and how the Democrats are helping, to save our democracy and not letting our democracy be in shambles like the GOP is forgetting about the American Constitution. So they need to focus on stuff like that and stop catering to the white middle ground people who just first time voted for the Democratic Party in years. Because, like I said, we didn't need them then and we don't need them now. Black people showed up and voted at high record numbers. Black women showed up to vote for the Democratic Party over 90%. Black men over 80%. Hispanics over 69%. About 69%. We need to stop catering to Karens and Chads because we only got 47% of white women that voted for the Democratic ticket this past election and 32% of white men. Let's stop. Just stop catering because at the end of the day, they are not the ones saving democracy. It's black people. It's the quote unquote establishment according to the progressives. So if Democrats want to win, run on legislative achievements, not on, who is morally good. Or, the moderate and the centrist vote. Because that's, hint, hint, white folks. I'm just saying. Now. Oh, yep, of course they do, okay? They keep chasing, and 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work for them. It doesn't. Honestly. Okay, time to read. So, I know in the comments, everybody, says stuff about Onika. So, I would like to refer to some tweets that Onika has tweeted off because you're going to have to go to the origin of her tweets. Because it's important to understand the origins of Onika's tweets. Because Onika, lost her goddamn mind. So, let's find Onika's tweets. So Anika tweeted on Monday at 5:21 on the day of the Met Gala that happened, during Fashion Week here in New York, said they want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I got vaccinated, it won't be. She said it should be, it won't be. It won't for the Met. Bad English. This is how people need to go back to school. I can't even read it. It'll be once I feel I've done enough research. That sentence bothered me. I'm working on that now. In the meantime, my loves, be safe. Wear the mask with 2 strands that grips your head and face, not that loose one. The English in this tweet bothers my soul. It literally did. And then probably about 23 minutes after that tweet, my cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called off the wedding. So just pray on it. Make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied. So, I believe I said something like this. I don't know if I have a copy of my tweet, but I said this. You find my tweets because I tweet a lot. Sorry, y'all. Just trying to find my tweet. So I said this. Found it. So Nicki Minaj can get injections in her ass, but refuse to get a life-saving vaccine from a sister. I'm just saying. I have Candy's face all the time because Candy and I, we share the same zodiac sign and we make that same fucking face all the time. And then, the Barbs felt like it's a need that they came after me. So here goes. She's social distancing and wearing a mask, and as she should tell her fans to do the same level. Leave her alone. She has a child who can't get vaccine. If she gets COVID, the vaccine, she could still contract COVID and spread it to her loved ones, including the precious baby. Why mask it? That makes no sense. Another said, how is it misinformation? She only mentioned that she wanted to make an educated decision and even told people to wear a mask. And went from that to, her saying this crazy stuff. Because Joy Reid also checked her about it and said, a lying homophobic coon. I guess I can join in the reindeer games too, right? People can go on TV and lie on me. I can report on them too, right? Doesn't have to be truths. It can only be half truths. So she told on herself. Uncle Tamina asked, who on earth would trust the U.S. FDA guys? She actually questioned the Trump administration after he politicized the vaccines. After he also told people to inject bleach in them on April 23rd, 2020, 2 days after my 34th birthday. While Dr. Birx was sitting there and let him say that shit, and she was the White House COVID response data coordinator, who is also an experienced doctor who helped us out the HIV and AIDS crisis back in the 1980s. Let the quote-unquote resident of the United States lie about curing yourself from COVID and using UV light. And people at the FDA were so fucking scared of his ass. But I guess Onika forgot about that. Onika proceeds to tweet more dumb shit. So it's more dumb shit, that she tweeted. And because, like I said, you have to get the origins. I'm sorry I'm going long because it's going to be a long-ass read because she deserves it. Yeah, cousin. I said the same thing. So when Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Tommy Lauren was praising her, and even Cenk Uger's nephew, who I can't stand, said, he's a white supremacist, right? I actually agree with him with that tweet. She said, right, I can speak to and agree with, even look at someone from a particular political party. People aren't human anymore. If you're black and a Democrat tells you to shove marbles up your ass, you simply have to. If another party tells you to look out for that bus, stand there and get hit. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So, Onika. All this week, you've been trending in the mainstream media, on the radio airwaves, and social media, and even your parents' home country of Trinidad and Tobago, for the baseless, irresponsible tweets that were filled with mistruths about the COVID-19 vaccine. With your nearly 23 million followers on Twitter, you spent this whole week tweeting mistruths, misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine. I guess you failed to realize that your followers actually believe the dumb shit that you constantly say. And only reason why I think you're doing this, Onika, to deflect of what your husband is about to face, because karma is actually hitting his door, and even your door too, because you're playing a role in what your husband have done, trying to conflate and change somebody's story. And you're about to get hit with a lawsuit and possibly some jail time. Not sure about the jail time, but you're going to be hit with karma in your face, just like your husband is. What you also fail to realize, besides your personal woes, with all that lying you've done, and try to call out one of the most competent black journalists on television, whether you agree with her or not, was trying to actually give you some humbling advice. The people of Trinidad, the prime health minister, and even a local journalist called your ass out. One called you out for lying in your tweet about the vaccine, about your cousin's friends, whatever, testicles, which we all know that was a lie, and he confirmed it. Because I heard nobody getting, whatever from the vaccine. And you trying to be for your people in Trinidad. Like, all of this, it's been a bad week for you, Onika. It's been a bad week. But I'm here to tell you, you done fucked up. Onika, let me give you some advice. I'm not a fan, but I am a person that listens to hip hop. So I kind of got some say in this thing. You have more access to people like Dr. Kizzy, Dr. Vin Gupta, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, Dr. Ebony Hilton, Dr. Ashby, Dr. Purnell, Dr. Patel, Dr. Bedelia, and even Dr. Relinsky and the man himself, Dr. Anthony Fauci. You have all this access to the world-known epidemiologists and infectious diseases doctors than me. And yet, you made yourself look like a whole entire ass. An uneducated fool. They always say don't listen to celebrities when it comes to, your health or anything with real life decisions, because they will end up like you, Onika. So with all of this I'm saying, I will never take health advice from you. But I'm here to say, sister, you just made a whole ass of yourself, and you will always be remembered for lying about the vaccine. You have made black women out here look sad and pressed and wrecked. And with all the research that you're doing, it's not real. The best way to do your research, to conduct your research, is actually talking to the world-renowned doctors, including the woman herself who invented this vaccine. And stop listening to people like Dr. Omar Johnson and Tyreek Nasheeds of the world. Stop listening to them. Because now you are a world-renowned high temperaturist, or high temperaturist, whatever you are. So stop. I know that was a long read, but she had it coming. She had it coming. And to the anti-vaccine celebrities out there, that includes Onika herself, Darrell Baps, and anti-masker Trevor. Get their names. You know who they are. Nobody should not be following y'all when it comes to health advice. We will not take health advice from you guys because you guys are just entertainers. You guys did not get your schooling, education, in epidemiology or any other medical or scientific background in that sort. No, you didn't. I don't even think you guys even finished high school. And if Onika, if you finish high school writing like that, I feel bad for you and your child because you can't write correct English. And you went to LaGuardia. How embarrassing. When it's one of the top high schools in New York City. But anyhow, I would like for you celebrities to shut the fuck up when it comes to giving health advice, because you guys are misleading people and leading them to their doom. So please, if you have nothing positive to say or constructive to say, just shut the fuck up. Point blank, period. And the GOP. This is the Fox News. With all that smack you're talking, you should ask the executives and the owners of your network, why did you have to come back to work being vaccinated? I don't understand why you guys are spreading misinformation about the vaccine when you guys had to be vaccinated at work. I think you guys are purposely hurting folks. But Tommy Lauren, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens is not vaccinated. But Tucker Carlson and Tommy Lauren and the rest of you guys at Fox, y'all need to cut the bullshit and stop the fucking lying about the vaccine. Stop. And to the progressives out there defending Onika, you guys ain't shit neither. Because instead of saying, Onika, you fucked up, no, you guys are encouraging her to do her research. When she has access to all these people while she's doing her own research. Sounds dumb, Bree Newsom. Because you and Nikki are in the same boat in terms of your husbands. I'm just saying. There's receipts out there. So with that being said, y'all need to cut the fucking bullshit. And to Mr. Man himself. We got to address Mr. Man. Mr. Man himself had a whole bunch to say. He was defending Onika. So this is exactly what he said.
It's a real moment to teach. I respect Joanne Reed. She's the homie, but she missed a real moment to teach yesterday because Nikki never said, don't take the vaccine. No. Like, she spoke on why she has vaccine hesitancy, but she also in the very next tweet said she will probably get vaccinated to go on tour. Like, Joy could have used that moment on our show to correct Nikki on whatever misinformation she put out, and she could have said Nicki Minaj is encouraging people to do their research about the vaccine. Nicki put up a poll asking what's the best vaccine. Nicki said Drake is vaccinated, and she's going to get vaccinated to go on tour. So if Drake is vaccinated and Nicki wants to get vaccinated, why aren't you?
So Nicki Minaj responded to Joy-Ann Reid. She said, "This is what happens when you're so thirsty to down another black woman by the request of the white man that you didn't bother to read all my tweets. My God, sister, do better. Imagine getting your dumbass on TV a minute after a tweet to spread a false narrative about a black woman." And then somebody said, "Nick shouldn't even have to say or explain anything. It's literally in her tweets. All you got to do is read. It's that simple." She said, "Why would they bother to read when the lie is so juicy and provocative and got her dumbass on TV? They got someone with black skin for a reason. They always use us against us." And
it could have been a real teachable moment. Instead, it turned into the verses that we don't need. Like, I really hate how we live in this era where everything has to be a versus. Like, if you see someone might have some misinformation, school them. And when you have a platform, it can control a narrative, put the narrative out there that you want. Because this could have been a moment to encourage folks to get the vaccine, because the biggest rapper in the world, Drake, is vaccinated, and Nicki said she wants to get vaccinated. Like, why not focus on that?
she then posted an old post from Joy-Ann Reid, and she said, "A lying homophobic coon. I guess I can join in the reindeer games too. People can go on TV and lie on me. I can report on them too, right? Doesn't have to be truth. It can be half truth." Uncle Tamiana asked, "Who on earth would trust the U.S. FDA guys?" And the post from Joy-Ann Reid said, "I mean, will anyone ever fully trust the CDC government again? And who on God's earth would trust a vaccine approved by the FDA? How do we get a vaccine distributed after this broken Trumpist nonsense has infected everything, even if Biden wins?"
And that's why you got to have more grace. Because just some months ago, that's how she felt. And there's still some people who feel like that. So why not use these moments to teach?
Oh. I'm trying. I'm trying. Leonard. You know I don't go by that Charlemagne the God bullshit. Leonard. Leonard. Leonard, a.k.a. Charlemagne the God. Leonard, I think you misinterpreted Joy Reid's video and segment about Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj has 12... Okay. I'm slandering my words because I'm pretty upset. And I had to reflect. Leonard. Oh, God. See? I'm calling him Leonard and his name is Leonard. Because I was just bothered by that video. That's actually, I heard most of that video because I only heard like half, but now I saw all. Leonard. Leonard Charlemagne the God. Leonard. You misinterpreted Joy Reid's clip and Joy Reid's segment. If you watched the whole show and watched the segment where she explained why Nicki was wrong, you would have actually agreed with Joy more than you agreed with Nicki and had Nicki's back. Onika, we're going to use her real name. Onika has over 22 million followers. Joy Reid has 2. Onika's followers listen to her every fucking move. They listen to her more than they listen to you. And I'm pretty sure they don't even like you, Leonard. They can't stand your ass. I mean, for crying out loud, I can't stand your ass. You're the reason why I don't listen to radio no more. Let's be real. As I used to love the radio growing up, especially New York radio, because I grew up in New York. You make me hate the radio, Leonard. Because you're too chatty. As the Caribbean folks say, you are a chatterbox. You chat too much. Because all you do is run your motherfucking mouth without any facts and receipts. Vouching for someone that probably don't like your ass. This is exactly why Leonard will never, ever get any praises from me. His whole journalism is based on feelings and not facts. I don't understand why you chat too much. You gossip like a woman. And you need to cut that bullshit out. I know you're trying to get clicks and viral moments like every other time. Like with Joe Biden and shit. Like, son, you whack out here. You may be on top right now with your little radio show, but all that's going to go down the drain if you keep basing shit on feelings and not facts. Stop giving your fucking opinion on everything that you don't have the facts on. Because it makes you look like an ass. And trust me, I will make sure to put the actual clip that Joy Reid said to address Onika and her misinformation. But until then, Leonard, I want you to stop basing your feelings on everything when you don't know the facts. I mean, yo, I'm so sick of him. Like, he's been getting on my nerves for the last decade and some change. I didn't even like him on MTV. And I don't like him now on the radio. When he came on the radio, I stopped listening to the radio completely. Thank you, Queen Lion. I'm not even West Indian I'm not even Caribbean. But I worked in a Caribbean neighborhood for like over 5 years. And one thing that Caribbean people don't like, they don't like a chatty man. They don't like a man that chat too much. Or a woman that chat too much. A chat bout. That's what it is. Chat bout. Chat too much. And also there, and I'm not, and I know I've been going over like an hour, but there is a good article by one of my followers who followed me. And I like to read some of it because it's a very great article. And it is written by Haley Taylor Schultz. Hopefully I say her name right. And it's an opinion article. And it's titled, Activist David Hogg Does Not Speak for Black Generation Z. We all knew this day was coming. The day that Gen Z would have to find its voice. What we have might not have considered who would speak for us and represent what we care about. For Black Generation Z members, what happened recently in the news should make us understand what is coming and how important it is to speak up and vote to ensure our views and experiences are heard and understood. In late August, David Hogg, a popular Gen Z activist, co-founder, and board member of the March for Our Lives, posted a series of tweets attacking Democrats for doing too little for young people. His push on the Democratic Party elected officials was specifically focused on the issues he said young people care about: climate change, gun reform, and student debt. Hogg expressed in a series of tweets, if it's not done, young people will likely sit out the next election and not vote. His Twitter thread has been shared by thousands, and it's been discussed not only by Gen Zers, but those of older generations. I'm a millennial, so that includes me. And as I read the tweets, I was moved by the clarity and positions of authority David held in his own opinions of what young people cared about in the area of public policy. He was clear that the issues on climate change, gun reform, and student debt are major issues of concern that would decide if young people would vote in 2022 elections. More importantly, many older Americans read his tweet and accepted his voice and opinion as representing our entire generation. I thought of my own experiences in discussions with fellow members of Gen Z, and especially with Black students, and I realized that the issues that we care about, that we talk about and care about the most, didn't line up with the three issues raised by David Hogg. Excuse me. In fact, for most of the discussions I have recently with my peers, the focus of policy for Black students continues to be on issues on ongoing racism that is built in our society. Yes, we care about climate change, but we come to the discussion that with a clear understanding of how environmental racism and government policies have deliberately created the lack of clean air and water in many of our communities. So yes, we care, but we care for a perspective of clean water in communities such as Flint, Michigan. Yes, we care about gun reform, but our deeper collective community experiences are shaped the way we look at our police departments and that we use deadly force against Black people across our nation. It's why we march, protest, and deeply embrace movements like Say Her Name and Black Lives Matter. Yes, we care about student loan debt and the cost of high debt, but for the real and ongoing perspective of how racism created, deliberate generational wealth issues, and the historical deliberate and ongoing lack of funding by our government for our nation's HBCUs. And what David left out of his tweets threads that show the quietly emerging deeper divide amongst members of Gen Z is on what issues we care about most. Let's take, for example, education. For Black Gen Z members, our collective experience in education is one of the that makes us challenge our nation's commitment to ensuring a high quality education for all children. Our public charter and private education K-12 systems are plagued by adults who help create well-documented and ongoing inequities. Black students face the realities that they are far more likely to be disciplined at schools. Black girls are adultified by teachers and administrators. The way our hair grows on our bodies is attacked by school dress code policies across the nation. These are some of the issues that Black students from Gen Z share they would like to see immediately addressed by the Democratic Party across the nation. We could get Senator Cory Booker and Congresswoman Watson Coleman's Nation Crown Act passed and sent to President Joe Biden's desk. That seems easy if we're asking Black Gen Z members. Although David raises legitimate concerns about what the Democratic majorities in the U.S. House and Senate in Washington, D.C. are doing, he also fundamentally misses the need to address that unlikely past generations of Americans, Gen Zs, will not be driven by perspective of one specific group. She goes on and says stuff. She said during the 2020 election of voting, in fact, 87% of Black youth voters voted for Joe Biden. 51% of white youth voters voted for Donald Trump. So again, 87% of Black youth voted for President Biden with a Vice President Harris on the ticket, while 50% of white youth voted for Donald Trump. See, I try not to get into the Parkland kids and not try to tear them down. But when you have a series of tweets, David Hogg attacking the Democratic Party, which is the only party that will actually listen to you and listen to your bold leftist ideas, it's kind of fucked up. But I echo Ms. Haley for writing that article, and it's a great read. I have it on my feed. You should read it. I will say this to address the young Gen Z. You guys are a generation behind me. I'm a millennial. Gen Z, even though your movement is multicultural, there are still racial divides among your generation in terms of the issues that you guys most care about. You guys only care about class issues, and that includes student loan, cancel student loan debt, climate change, and Medicare for all. You guys don't really care about systemic racism. The only thing you address systemic racism on is our police departments. It's systemic racism is all across the board. It's in our education system, it's in our healthcare system, is in economics, of course, and that includes jobs. It's in our infrastructure. It's in every freaking institution. And the only way agendas like this can be passed if we address the elephant in the room. And that's something that not only David Hogg don't get, but Walker Bragman and many other white leftists, they don't seem to understand systemic racism is in all institutions and even in all parties, whether you're on the far right or the far left. And this is also one of the reasons why Bernie Sanders did not win, because he had a hard time addressing issues that affect black and brown people in this country. And that is true. And in terms of voter turnout, 87% of black youth, like over 90% of black women, voted for Biden and Harris, while 51% of white youth, 55% of white women, 68% of white men voted for Donald Trump. So it's very clear that the election last year was based on race. It was not based on who can be a better leader for this country. It was based on race and power. White people in this country still want power. As sad as it is, they want power. And apparently, they were outnumbered in terms of voting because voter turnout was so high. And I pray it continues to be high. And yes, Democrats got to do their job if Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema just shut the fuck up and do their job. But at the same time, I'm saying that black people has once again saved democracy from the worst president of the United States at the time, the New York bum himself. So folks like David Hogg, Walker Bragman, and all those other white Democrats, we don't need their votes. Black people save democracy, especially black women. And if you disagree with this sentiment, then you have a problem with yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself and before you check me. Now, I know I did not want to go long, but I went long. So on that note, please check out the replay. The replay will be out there. Yes, Queen. And yes, he didn't want to address it because it's called identity politics. And he's a standard bearer of identity politics if you really want to get technical. But please, check out my YouTube page. You can subscribe to the YouTube page. You can follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, and until then, folks, have a great weekend. Be blessed and be highly favored.